Winnie-the-Pooh Blood and Honey is a 2023 British independent horror film. It's written and directed by Rhys Frank Waterfield and is a modern retelling of the Winnie-the-Pooh book series from author A. Milne and E.H. Shepard. Now you're wondering to yourself, how can they make a horror movie about Winnie-the-Pooh? Well, the 1926 kind of copyright expired on January 1st, 2022, and it entered the public domain. Now, only Winnie-the-Pooh and Piglet's copyright expired. Eeyore, Owl, and Tigger have not. So that's why those characters are not in this movie, but Owl and Eeyore are mentioned. Now, the movie starts off many years ago with a young Christopher Robin, and we get a kind of, I want to say, recount of what happened and how Christopher Robin met Winnie-the-Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, and Owl. Not only that, I feel like the narration is done by Malcolm McDowell, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But, Christopher Robin leaves them, and then they have to fend for themselves. They don't know what to do. So what happens? Pooh, Piglet, and Owl eat Eeyore in order to survive and stay alive with their survival instincts. Now, the interesting thing is that Pooh and Piglet now have become kind of these feral, bloodthirsty creatures. They call them creatures in this. They don't call them by Pooh or Piglet. It's very rare that they're mentioned by name, but they're like half human, half animal, which is, we don't know how they got like this. And 5 years go by. Christopher Robin and his wife Mary come back, and then they go in search of Pooh and Piglet in the 100-acre woods. And it's really, really interesting how it starts off, because we're just getting introduced, and this opening sequence from the illustration credits and then into the true movie is about 20 minutes long, which is a really, really good timing for it. Things happen, and like Pooh and Piglet capture Christopher Robin, and then they just, we fast forward some time later, and we see Maria talking to her therapist about a stalker. Now, let me get this out of the way now. Maria's stalker story is just that. It's just a story. There's no context that goes into it anymore. Someone is just stalking her. She talks to her therapist, and later on her friends. And her friends, Jess, Alice, Zoe, and Lara, kind of go to a cabin in the 100-acre woods to get away because they want to help Maria come over her fear of everything and start going out into the open and meeting people. Well, things start happening. One of the girls are in the hot tub. She's taking pictures of herself, and Pooh sees it and gets Piglet, and they kind of, take her, and this is where everything just starts going crazy. Like I said, 20 minutes into it, it's really quick, but then the next hour and 15 to 20 minutes is crazy of a movie. The movie's 100 minutes long. It's a very fast watch. Not only that, there are parts where there are shaky cam, and it just didn't feel like it fit a little bit. There's scenes where one of the characters is talking next to a car, calling her friends, trying to find out where she is. And then she goes into the woods and then starts getting chased by Winnie-the-Pooh. What? Okay. The amount of kills in this and deaths is absolutely crazy. I believe there's about 12 or 13 kills in this. All so gruesome and in your face, you wouldn't even believe it. And they're all so eccentric with how they kill, with a meat grinder, a sledgehammer, or a big machete through the mouth, which was really interesting, and I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm pretty sure it's been done before in other horror films, but it's just absolutely crazy. It's just a in-your-face horror film, and it's really well done. Other than the shaky cam, put that aside, and the CGI blood, put that aside, and the continuity is kind of there, but then not there. We see a character in the beginning where Maria kind of, meets at one of the garage places, and then later on this character is captured, and then this is a fun movie. Let me just get to the point. It's a fun movie. People say this is the worst movie of 2023. This is a bad horror movie. No, if you want to watch it for entertainment, for fun, and you want to see how a movie like this is, see it, watch it, check it out. This was a one-time nationwide event where Fathom Events released it on February 15th, 2023, but with critical acclaim and positive reactions to it, it's getting a nationwide release at a later date. And Not only that, a sequel is in development. And it's great because I'm really curious to see how that's going to happen. Will they call it Winnie-the-Pooh, Christopher's Revenge? Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, Christopher's Revenge? What is it going to be? Not only that, Reese Frank Waterfield also has a big universe planned with Bambi, The Reckoning, and Peter Pan, Neverland Nightmare. Yes, you heard that correctly. Bambi and Peter Pan are getting the horror movie treatment. And he wants all these characters to come into one film. Absolutely mind-blowing. Like, Bambi goes after the humans who killed her mother, and in Peter Pan it's like the whole aspect of what if Neverland was actually more of a nightmare. I mean, I'm curious to see it. Anything like this is always fun because it's entertaining. Independent horror is great. The movie was shot really, really well. The aspect of, you know, the whole editing and the music. The music is where it's at. It's absolutely great. It's mind-blowing. And it's just a little aspect of like the up-tempo thing, and it's just a good up-tempo, and it's fun. The makeup and the costumes for Winnie the Pooh and Piglet are just simple masks, but they're done so well. The only thing that was disappointing was when Winnie the Pooh smiled, you could tell it was a little bit of a CGI and it was just a little forced. Other than that, push that aside. The makeup was great. The kills and the blood and the gore were great, even though it was a little bit CGI, you could tell, just a little bit. And there is a scene where Pooh takes Eeyore's tail and starts whipping one of the characters. Like, oh, like, it's brutal. The whole concept of the mind of the director, Reese Frank Waterfield, is absolutely amazing. And I didn't expect Pooh to have overalls on. He has the red shirt on, which is like a, you know, flannel kind of thing, but you know, with the overalls I was thinking he would be more pantsless because the character is pantsless, and Piglet would have his signature pink kind of, you know, striped shirt on or whatever it is. But it's interesting, and I'm curious to see if we're going to see Tigger, Owl, you know, in this sequel. And we know what happened to Eeyore. That's all that matters. And, you know, would love to have seen the makeup for them, for those characters. This is a classic, timeless story with Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin, but then with a horror treatment. It's very enjoyable. It's fun. Also, I've been waiting for this film ever since I heard the announcement in May of 2022. I was like, how can they make a horror movie like this when it's a Disney property, or so to speak? Well, they did it, and it happened, and I have been keeping track of when this was going to be released, and when it did, and when I saw it when it was being released, I jumped on the chance to check this out, because this film, or films like this, are fantastic for me because I am a horror fan. I live for independent horror like this. You have to support indie film, support independent horror, and I'm curious to see how this whole expansion of this universe with Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, and Peter Pan happen. I'm curious to see the sequel. I'm hoping the sequel gets a nationwide release because it will be amazing. Word of mouth will get this movie going. For me, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey gets 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Will you be checking it out now that I reviewed it? What are your thoughts on it? And did you expect a movie like this to be made? And if not, what are you looking forward to now? And are you looking forward to Bambi, The Reckoning, and Peter Pan, Neverland Nightmare? And did you have fun checking this movie out? If you haven't heard of this, will you be checking it out now? And I'm pretty sure word of mouth will get this movie going, and I'm hoping the sequel gets a nationwide release. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get it in the next few years, so to speak, just to rush this and to see what happens. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Also, let me know what rating you would give Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. I'll see you all in the next review video, and thank you for tuning in.